Welcome to Red Diaries. It's Craig. So I was going to do a video yesterday on this one, but I thought I'll leave it a little bit to see what more info comes out. Not really much. So I wanted to tell you what I was thinking, uh, based on what I can see, what I know of America, where I've lived, like Detroit and Atlanta and Denver, and been all around. And I said a couple of years back on a video back in the Cryptoversity channel, the first ever Red Pill Diary video, I mentioned what would happen in America, what I thought was going to become, and you're seeing it happening now. It's I'm not saying, oh wow, look, he's Nostradamus. All I'm saying is it was kind of obvious what's going to happen to America. It wasn't obvious what was going to trigger it, but it was obvious. Okay, I'll tell you what. I'm gonna take a step back. I'm gonna explain a few things. Right, in cryptocurrency trading, there's a thing that they use trading bots, right? And those bots, when if you're very wealthy, or if you're like JP Morgans of the world, or the Goldman Sachs of the world, you will use a trading bot that has very expensive, basically there's the type of coder out there, and I cannot remember the name of it, it's escaping me, type of coder who works on algorithms for trading, right? And those algorithms will have effectively, they're coded to understand your next move. So it's cause and effect, cause and effect, cause and effect, right? If I pump the market up, what will the average person do now? Will they buy in? No, they'll wait. The average person would buy in now, and then 20% will buy in another 10% higher. Then you dump the market, right? It's basically it's people are so predictable when you look at large data sets. So you might think someone's not very predictable until you see 100 people doing the same thing. If you've dated a lot of girls, you'll understand this. There's certain things you can do. You can start to look like some kind of mind reader, and you can impress girls this way because you know what they're going to do, and so you can tell them, oh no, I think you think this, or you're going to do that. And go, oh my god, how do you know that? Because you've seen it before, right? And you know it's going to happen again. And you'll see certain traits, like certain women who will, let's say, be extroverted and be very showy with clothes and be insecure. They will tend to do a certain thing, and if you've seen it enough times with girlfriends and female friends, you start to understand exactly what they're going to do. So I got a friend in Serbia, for example. He was having some bullshit with some chick, and I kept on telling him what she would do next. And he was like, "How the fuck do you know this stuff?" And I'm like, "Because I've seen it all before. From friends, girlfriends who've been wrapping them around their little finger and stuff like that, right?" Anyway, in a larger data set, it's called trend analysis. And if you look at the fact that if you look at psychology and books from people like Sigmund Freud and Nietzsche, when it comes to propaganda, human beings fit into quite a small amount of categories when it comes to certain things, right? So what they can do is they can code things, they can tell what the average person will do to such an effect that they can even feed a song into these other programs that use algorithms as well to tell, will this be a hit, based upon, again, what worked before. Feed all those millions of songs in, feed in data from critics, for example, and then they can come up with a data set that says, well, this is more likely when a song gets let's say hi-hats at this certain level, or the tempo goes up here, or whatever it might be, or the grid or the grind changes here and there, this will make people get excited. So they can actually read not just songs, they can read movie scripts this way. It's amazing to think this, but this is exactly how Hollywood works. You read, and I shit you not, they take a written script and they feed it into the computer, and it will tell you if this will be a hit movie or not, right? Songs, all that sort of stuff. So if you think about this for a second, when you see the stuff that's going on in Detroit and Minnesota and all these other cities around America that was kind of obvious was going to happen, what they're really doing is playing the NPCs like a fiddle, right? Leaving bricks on the street. Well, there's double-sided sword to that one, right? One is An NPC, by the way, NPC isn't just a libtard who doesn't know what he's doing. He's like, oh, go Hillary Clinton. It's not just that. An NPC is anyone who is controlled so easily by TV or trend feed. Because the thing is, people don't understand. Yeah, I haven't watched TV for years. Doesn't matter. You're still watching the feed media. And that's why you've really got to say, if I'm being fed something, question it straight away. Why is this video popping up in front of my face? It's probably because Google's watched your trend, and it's worked out that you're this kind of person. You're watching Kardashians. You're gonna be a brainless fuck. It's gonna feed you more shit the same. Oh, I've done a bit of research in this one. No, you haven't. You just looked at what got fed to you, and then you think you've done research. You've done fucking nothing because you're a lazy cunt, right? Sorry to say it. That's the most of humanity, right? Now, this is going to be happening in a grand scale. Now, this is going to sound very conspiratorial, right? But if you think to yourself how much money goes into marketing to sell you Coca-Cola, right? And then you think how much money was made in the last recession. Well, how much money might go into collapsing a whole bunch of companies? Now, what's most likely happening here is cannibalization. So there's no honor among thieves. So when it comes to corporations, we've already seen last week, for example, we saw Goldman Sachs with a completely different narrative than Grayscale is obviously putting out news that they're buying more Bitcoin than all the miners in the world are mining. And this is not a crypto video. I'm just saying this is news. They're putting out that news there on purpose. It may not even be true because we don't know, because they're buying it on what's called OTC markets, which we can't even count the Bitcoins. But the news is getting out. The news is being released on purpose, right? These what do you call it? Investigative reporters aren't that good. So there's a lot of news that comes out on purpose. We already know this, that famous people put out news to say, "Oh, so and so gave all this charity. He doesn't want to be he's so what's the word, humble. He doesn't want to let the world know. He doesn't want to know. He wants to let everyone know that he gave people money, or else he wouldn't have given people money because he's a stingy fuck, as most Hollywood stars or people like Bono are. They only do stuff if it comes back to them again, because they're greedy motherfuckers, right? And greedy for power, greedy for everything else, right? So if you think about it in that respect, if they're using algorithmic trading bots to make billions in the stock market and in the cryptocurrency markets and in the art market and everything, right? Then why the fuck wouldn't they do it to destroy a bunch of companies? Now, we've already seen during the COVID-19 pandemic that what ended up happening was it's unsafe for you to be in a public park for some weird reason, but it's not unsafe for you to go to, and that's with a mask on, but it's not unsafe for you to go to a Walmart. It's not unsafe to go to Target. It's not unsafe to go to Sainsbury's or Tesco's or Coles if you're in Australia, or Foodstuffs, what's it called? Pack and Save, or Checkers in South Africa, whatever. You can go to all these places. They're all fine, but you can't go to the small place down the road. You can't go to your local shop. Well, unless you live in Slovenia, we had slightly different rules here. A shop could be open per village. Makes a lot more sense, you see. So it doesn't, not just the big corporates that are staying open. Although, admittedly, Mercer or Spar tends to own most of the small stores. They are still big corporates, right? But you do get exceptions. Bulgaria's the same, but they don't tend to be large corporates in the small towns. And so Eastern Europe's a little bit better in some ways, but for the most part, even over here, Jager's still open. It's one of the main chains around the country, right? Was still open during the lockdown. You had Obi did close down, and places like Mercer, which is like the Home Depot of this part of the world, or B&Q if you're in the UK, right? Or Mitre 10 if you're in the Australasia region. So what this is to basically damage the little guy and let the massive corporations win. The next thing is cannibalization. Right, we're all corporations, but we're different size, and this is where the giants, this is where the super whales eat the whales, right? So what you do is what they have clearly done is now that we've got this situation going on, we've basically put the boot in. So the landowners are still getting their money because, oh well, hey, I've still got a customer in my building, I still need to get paid. But the person with the actual business, even some like Victoria's Secret, there'll be some of their friends they throw to the wolves, just like when the paedophile ring threw Jeffrey Epstein to the wolves. It's the same thing, right? They're just throwing one of their own. That's cannibalization, right? Survival of the most cunty. So the next thing is getting back to algorithms again. If you imagine that we're all living in a script, all right, because we effectively are, and there's multiple different theories that would like, for example, a couple of guys I watch. One guy is Drew World Order, which is a channel called Chalk Body Outline. He's noticing a lot of similar things to me. Some things I haven't noticed, but also things that I don't really get into so much as him and another guy called Matt from Quantum of Conscience. I look at the more non-spiritual manipulation, right? And I do agree that there's definitely something going on with numbers all the time. I'm seeing 33 around me all the time. It's getting beyond a joke. It's getting like the movie The Number 23 with Jim Carrey. So basically, if you look at the placement of the bricks on the street, right? Now, of course, the NPC, that is the mindless, not your liberal NPC, but just your mindless thug NPC. You're going to get your right winger NPC. You're going to get your NPC that's like a Republican, your NPC that's Democrat. You know, they're all just morons, right? Believing that there's somehow some messiah, cheering on their political team as if it's a football club, right? So what's happening is, let me just see here. When you put a video that shows these bricks in the street, of course people are going to pick them up. But the other thing is, you're going out there and identifying them straight away really, really quickly. That's also the same as the white guys that are, there's a cop there, he's got a hammer. For all we know, that is, again, to make the black people go, these fucking white people got to go home. Again, separation. Now, years ago, when there was still about 20% of white slaves, because the first slaves in America were white. Actually, the first slaves in America were American Indians and also whites, Scottish and Irish mostly, who were brought out before slavery was actually outlawed, or indentured servitude, as they used to call it. Right, it's just slavery, same thing. So they would wake up, these alcoholics, and they'd be on a slave ship on the way to America. And then when the slave trade, this is from about the mid-1500s, when the slave trade opened up from Africa, after Livingstone went down through Africa, and then they came across Arabs and everything who were selling African slaves from African warlords, because that's who was really enslaving people, not whites. And then the whites of various different countries, Holland and Netherlands and Portugal and Spain, bought these slaves off these Arab slave traders, who also bought slaves, by the way. But you wonder, where's all the slaves in Saudi Arabia? The answer is, they're so bloody jealous, they would have killed them all, right? A lot of them apparently died because they got castrated, because they were so threatened that something might happen to the women. The women were treated horrible, just as they are today. If you look at some of the stories of Filipino sex slaves in Dubai, you will see some horrendous stories. Just look it up. I'm not going to even bother talking about it. It's disgusting, horrible stuff. It makes me cringe. I wish I could do something about it, but I can't, right? So I'm not going to think about it. And it's the same as the Bangladeshi male slaves that come over to do work and often don't even get paid. They just get, they take their passports and they work in these things in Dubai and Abu Dhabi and all these other places, and they don't get shit for it, right? So this is happening all over the world. There's slavery in Southeast Asia as well. There's slavery all over Africa. There's slavery all over the world that's still going on, and it is in first world countries as well, right? And there's obviously, if you understand what's going on with people like the Hillary Clinton crew, there's definitely slavery that's going on in these Bohemian Groves kind of circles, right? So that's not what I'm getting at here. What I'm really getting into is the fact that we ignore things that are blatantly true. We know about things like technology, trading bots, algorithmic trading. We know about big data analytics, yet for some reason, when it comes to applying that to what if government's doing this, what if big corporations do that, it's like, you've got to be a conspiracy theorist. And it's the most fucking obvious. You're talking about corporations that will cannibalize each other just to make an extra cent. Corporations that will destroy the pension fund of everyone who's worked in that company for the past 50 years because a vulture capitalist comes in and basically feeds off the carcass of this company. And yet these people wouldn't use every tool at their disposal to manipulate the whole of mankind. I mean, you need your head checked if you really think that wouldn't happen, right? This is called logic, right? It's the, you know, someone tried to say to me the other day, he tried to use the expression, none of these things are true because Occam's razor, the most simplest explanation, is probably the right one. I'm like, the most simplest explanation is that they're using all these things at their disposal. The most simple explanation is that when DARPA comes on TED Talks 7 years ago and starts talking about things the size of your thumb that can move at Mach 10, and then people start showing aliens or UFOs, and then these pill UFOs, like I have in one of my videos in the other channel, the Red Pill Diary videos in the other channel in Cryptoversity, there's no accident that this technology is probably from Earth, but they're going to probably engineer some alien invasion. That might be the next, maybe 2030 or 2040. That'll be for one of the future ones. They'll line it up. That'll happen. Don't worry. So basically, as I said, the COVID-19 was used to strip the wealth off of companies so that they end up, rather than just people losing their homes and the banks being able to steal them, this is corporations, fairly big ones too, basically hitting the wall and going Chapter 11 and basically going bankrupt. And then these vulture capitalists will come in and feed off those as well. Again, it's clearing out all the middle wealth from the smaller corporations all the way down to the mildly wealthy. And I'm talking about someone who has more than 10 grand in savings, right? Mildly wealthy when it comes to a world scale. Wipe out that whole middle section. So all you have is NPCs, a bunch of wrecked people in the middle who have the intelligence to break out, but now don't have any resources with which to do it. So now they end up just committing suicide or whatever it might be, or just being sad the rest of their lives and just think, oh, there's no hope, blah, blah, I'm just going to become one of the other NPCs because it's going to drive me crazy if I don't do it. So the reality is you end up with only two classes, and that is, like if you looked at the old movies, Stargate years ago, you would see these Egyptian or kind of alien Egyptian things, and then you have the serfs at the bottom. That's what they want, right? So when I imagine like these people architecting chaos, that's what they're doing. These people at the top are architects of chaos. They talk about bringing order from chaos in these movies and things. Most movies are a truth drop. They're to seed something in your mind that's actually going on, right? So, you know, the Zoolander scene, it's like, look at your hair. I think I could do something with that. And he goes, and she's got like a beautiful haircut just from him running his hands through it. And do you mind? But that's how they kind of look at it. They're looking at society like, oh, okay, look, trim this little bit here, put this little bricks down there. Oh, get a media guy. Don't just have this black fella coming over here like, hey man, we found some bricks, dog. Look, we threw it through the window, right? They don't just have that. Have the guy coming in and taking the photograph of it and leaking it to Twitter. So everyone looks and goes, oh, look at that. It's been done on purpose. They're playing all sides of the coin. It's like, oh, hang on. Why would they incriminate themselves? Well, here's why. Because when you come up with something that, okay, let's say I have done something, when you have committed a crime, you can come along and basically give a smorgasbord of evidence. The one thing that an investigator will look out for when they see any crime, let's say if you're a homicide detective, right? When things seem too obvious, as if the evidence is falling on your lap, most of them go, why is there a smorgasbord of evidence here? It would seem like someone's trying to present me with a case. Same thing, different scale, different scenario, right? So basically what you do is you create a whole bunch of situations, but they're not, they're things that should be obvious and could be true but aren't. So what you do is you feed them all in to get people to believe them, and then you're able to debunk them quite easily because they didn't happen or they couldn't have all happened. So what happens is you crowd a situation with 15 things that you know didn't happen. Maybe one of them did, but they couldn't have possibly all happened. And the fact that people start chasing these, as Matt from Quantum of Conscience calls it, pissed on breadcrumbs, what ends up happening is you all look like clown fools, right? Because you're all believing, well, out of the 15 different things, they can't all be right. So 14 out of 15 look stupid, or actually, in the end, 15 out of 15 look stupid. You become some tinfoil hat wearing conspiracy theorist label to shut you down. And then you've got away with a perfect crime. Because no matter if the thing that you did is in those 15 little storylines that you've run, no one will believe it. Because it's already been dismissed as conspiracy theory, right? That's how it works, okay? So let me just unlock my computer here to give myself a brain jog. All right. So yeah, the other thing I want to say was about Elon Musk, right? Okay, well, not really Elon Musk. It's about NASA and about the space video the other day. I'm going to put a video up in the comments section. I'm going to put two videos up. There was one with the first launch that they aborted, and it shows some little mousy thing. It doesn't really look like a mouse. It looks like some kind of... It doesn't look organic to me, but it looks like it's moving in an organic fashion. Maybe on purpose. It could be something that's shifting around the rocket to change the directional... I don't know if rockets have steering. That's the thing. I don't want to jump to a conclusion when a rocket engineer could say, no, look, that's a bezel that turns around that actually changes the direction of the flow to actually straighten the rocket. It uses gyroscopes and it also uses this. It could be that, right? The thing is, in the second day, and this little thing scurries around, the point I'm getting at here is it could be something that was added to the video. Look, the videos weren't that clear. If they can make a deep fake where they can make you think Barack Obama is talking and it's not even him, or Donald Trump's talking, it's not even him, of course they can add stupid little features in that video as it's going. The thing that really got me was knowing how I've looked into, and I'm not hooked, I've looked into flat earth theory for years, and I've never got hooked line and sinker, but I have noticed that a lot of the things in it are almost provable by science, right? The thing is, that will make, well, actually some of them aren't provable by science, you know what I mean? It's like, wow, that's quite amazing. Like, for example, the earth curvature effect, things like that. And it's things where I've also seen experiments done that prove the globe earth. And that's why I think in this multiverse reality, both could actually be simultaneously true. Multiple things could. The thing that was really weird was, and I was watching Anthony Pompliano's video, and he was like, "See, dog, look, fucking the globe Earth. See, don't tell me they ain't no flat Earth." And directly at that point, it switched to a different camera which showed a flat Earth. You couldn't make this shit up. Now, every time I see a globe Earth, this is the thing that really annoys me, because I don't believe flat Earth's true, but I don't believe it's untrue either. It could coexist simultaneously, but because I don't believe it has more weight than globe Earth personally. And if you really believe it does, what it is you've been looking at confirmation bias. You're looking for things. There are definitely things that would appear to prove flat Earth to be true. But there are far more things that prove globe Earth to be true. Far more experiments that you can test that prove globe Earth to be true. And even then, that might not be true either. That again could be one of many multiverse scenarios or multi-reality scenarios, right? Or where you have your own reality. Each person has their own reality, but they can interface with other realities of other people. There's so many different theories, simulation theory and all sorts, right? So we'll probably never know the truth. But to me, it looked like it was added on purpose. Like, let's just get those flat earthers, you know. Let's just get the globe earthers here, flat earthers. Oh, hey, look at it. And then someone said to me, "Well, the next one was crazy. It came up with it almost looked inverted." And this guy said to me, "Oh, you know, well, you can't turn convex into concave. That's not true. Again, you can make a fucking video of Obama saying he wants to go out with his daughter. You think they can't bend a fucking globe this way, that way? Give me a fucking break. Don't be so naive and stupid, right? It's so dumb. I can't believe people can be so thick. They can do whatever they want. The whole, if the thing is, these flat earth theories, another thing is they talk about the whole thing being CGI. They already have seen the programs that they can use to render and create these globe earths and with clouds and everything. They already know the software exists. So why the fuck wouldn't the software be able to change anything to any direction? Change my hat into something that's inverted with all different colors and spiky unicorns, make it look like it's got leather texture skin. Fuck, whatever. It's all possible. Don't be stupid, right? So that being so, what I think is the case is that was put there as a pissed on breadcrumb for the flat Earth community and the hollow Earth community and whatever else is out there that's gonna latch onto that one. And then space is made in a Hollywood basement. The song by Chili Peppers. Maybe it is all made in the Hollywood basement because the watching the tinfoil move around on the top of the rocket. I don't know if you've seen it yet. You should probably go see it. But I'm gonna put a couple of videos in that show two different days of the mouse moving around, or one mouse chasing a mouse, and another one is just one mouse on its own. So it would be strange if it is a directional thing, why they were different each time. Why one had two little things moving around, and one had only one. Again, could be a reason. I'm not a rocket scientist, but it just seems there. When you put something in there and comment on it afterwards, because there will be comments on this afterwards, it'll be something that people chase for a while until someone's cornered and has to answer. But first of all, they'll pretend they're evading it, like, oh, why is he not answering the question, just to keep you laid on a little bit longer, following this nothing, right? And then once you follow nothing long enough and someone ends up saying, look, I've been as a rocket engineer and that, this is what this is, a bezel that's tuning the directional flow of blah, 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 blah. But why the fuck wouldn't you say it straight away when you're sitting there watching it? When you're sitting there looking at it right now. Same as the situation with the cameras in space. Oh, we have to have a microphone where you press a button. Billions of dollars and hundreds of millions of dollars, and you can't get a decent fucking camera that's got a microphone inside there that's just sending it back. Now, they would say, oh yeah, but you don't want to be sending that data back and forward, right? They're sending high definition. Well, it's not even high definition. It didn't look like to me. They're sending video. Now, a corner of your screen in video to this, see my fingers moving. The data that's where my fingers moving can give you high definition sound. Just that area, just showing what my fingers doing is enough bit rate to create those polygons, something like that, to create that image. It takes way more to do that than it does to actually give you a 120 kilobit channel of sound, right? So I call bullshit on that one, right? Now, the mouse moving that together, I just think it's a little bit of a setup. It's meant to keep us going a little bit longer. And then the pièce de résistance is we've got a video coming from space and it's perfectly fine. Nothing's going wrong. Oh, but here's a little ship on Earth that we can't get a fucking signal from. Give me a break. It's just fucking annoying how dumb. And that, because it's not even an intelligent fool. Like, hey, let's mock them. Hey, they're not. Only the dumbest of the dumb can be fooled by that. So here we are watching a ship where the dragon, the bottom portion of the dragon is meant to land on. And we want to see it flying in, and it looks pretty real, this video. Oh, look, wow. Not like those other good weather videos where it looks almost fake. You know it's real because it looks fake, right? That bullshit. So you're sitting there watching this rainy, crappy platform with sea spray coming up. And oh, lost the camera. Oh, bing! Oh, there's the rocket there. And for my next trick, it's fucking pathetic again. It's like, what, they had one camera? I mean, let's say they did have one camera. The one camera wasn't recording locally to be played back later on, even if the fucking live feed cut off. I don't buy any of it. It's complete bullshit. But I'm not going to get annoyed about it because it's all done on purpose. It's a big, massive pantomime. This is all happening simultaneously, while what's really happening behind the scenes is, of course, Boston Dynamics is making a whole bunch of robots for the government. Big corporations are getting richer, swallowing up smaller corporations and the little guy. The little guy who thinks, oh, look, I've got my paycheck from the government, which I'm going to have to spend just in keeping my head above water. Not getting ahead. Here, look, I've got my, I think some of my friends in New Zealand are becoming complacent now because they got given their government checks. It's like, oh, everything's so good right now. Oh, she's so good, Jacinda Ardern. If you watch King of UK and you scroll down to a video that's called Shoesting Christchurch, and you watch the video that's banned in New Zealand, you will find out why it's banned in New Zealand and around the world. The reason is because it was such a fucking abysmal copy. The guy shoots a shotgun through the window 3 times, and the window doesn't break. Right? Watch it for yourself. You can see it. It's the same video I saw. I didn't see I saw a video that got sent to me on WhatsApp, but this one is the full video. He goes in the street, pops people in the back of the head and stuff like that. Now, I've shot high-powered rifles. I know what they do to an animal, let alone a human. So, an AR-15 close range at someone back of someone's head, it doesn't just go tuft of a hair up. An airsoft gun might do that. An airsoft gun might crack a passenger window like it did, but doesn't make a hole at all in the basically a window that's got baked plastic in the middle of it, which is your windscreen. You can see those little bands in the center of your window when you get certain reflections in certain angles. You can do the window. You can see these little bars coming down your windscreen because it's toughened, right? So when you watch that, you will. Well, there's no point in me even explaining it because you will see the whole thing was a fake event, right? And that means that Jacinda Ardern is a fake PM. Now I had my suspicions at the time when I saw her putting on the Muslim mask and going like the overacting face, like, oh, sad face. How's my sad face? It's just fucking pathetic. I cannot stand pantomime people who are fake, who overdo actions, who overdo movements. The laziest people at work will usually be people who overdo to make it look like they're, look, here we go, yeah. You look at the production and they're doing nothing, right? They're just moving their body around. And they're over animating themselves. The shittest DJs do the same thing. Oh, hands up and down. Oh, you're a glorified record swapper. Give it a fucking break. Which is why I started DJing. Because my friend Alex years ago, oh, I'd like to see if you can do the same. Yeah, they are. They're glorified record swap. Okay, I will do it. And then next thing you know, I'm playing everywhere. That's how easy it is. Because these things, I'm not. Well, I did make a few tunes, but I'm not making any fucking famous tunes out there. That takes more skill. More skill again is playing a whole bunch of instruments and playing live with those instruments, right? So my point is, we're basically being pulled along by our wanger, and we're all going, oh, take me further, take me further. The whole thing's a sham at the moment. There's just too many little things that are too conveniently going on at the same time. As I said a while ago, America's going to have a bit of a meltdown because I could feel the sentiment in the air over there, and also people are used to having a lot. So as soon as they don't have a lot and the economy goes down, you'll see a lot of shit going on, and you're seeing a lot of shit going on. But people are being played like a fiddle. All right. Oh, let's just give him another black man. That seems to work. Oh, remember Damilola Taylor, the little child in the UK? Mm-hmm. Okay, Stephen Lawrence in the UK. Oh, yeah, uh-huh, mm-hmm. That one worked pretty well. Mark Duggan. Yeah, he's a bit of a badass, but people still kind of rioted over it, didn't they? Yeah, okay. Well, who else we got? Yeah, we got Rodney King. Yeah. Hey, wait a minute. So when you shoot a white guy, because most people get killed by the cops in the USA are actually white, but when you do that, it doesn't really get a rise, does it? No. Is it that white people are lazy? White people are apathetic? Probably they are. They're more selfish than black people? Maybe. I don't know. Jury's out on that one. But one thing we do know is that black people will emotionally react more than Asians will. I mean, I'm talking about not individually. As a group, they will emotionally react more. And I think that there's quite obvious reasons for that. They were treated like shit more recently as a group than white people get fucked with because they're a minority in America, right? I mean, a majority in America. Black people get fucked with as part of the course. Even someone was just telling me about 30 years ago when he was working the oil rigs over there. He was telling me like the kind of language that get used. They just there's no shame in it. And I know what I've seen in Atlanta as well with a bunch of rednecks. I also knew a bunch of rednecks that were basically you could describe them as a wigger, right? The more they dress black, they talk black, and all that sort of stuff, and they, actually in many cases go with black women or black men, whatever it is. So my point being here is that they have honed in on what gives them the reaction they want, what delivers the chaos, what makes the cities descend into chaos. As I said in my video the other day, what will make a situation where everyone wants to move out of New York because we don't want to pay we've been selling these properties for years, people like Trump and these syndicates, people who I know like in New Zealand, a bunch of rich guys who get together, the town where I'm from, Rodney Green and Chris from the bloody county hotel, they all get together in a syndicate, and I know all these guys. They get together in a syndicate and they buy properties in a syndicate, even though they can buy it by themselves. It gives you more clout behind what you do, right? So these guys come along and they start selling big areas of Fifth Avenue and all these other areas, right? And then when they sell it all, they've made all that money again, but they want to make it again. It's like the super whales that pump Bitcoin or pump gold up, so they can sell it at a high, and then they dump everything. The price comes down, and everything they sold, they buy back again. It's the exact same thing in the housing market and every other commodities market, everything else. Look at the situation with oil. Negative. The first time ever in history that any commodity has gone negative. The first time in history we're seeing negative interest rates. This is not by accident. This is completely on purpose. These are architects of chaos. And by the way, money means fucking nothing. It's what they buy with the money. It's what they manage to enslave us with the money that they produce for free. And we all sit there killing each other, destroying the oceans, destroying the fucking environment, just to dig some gold out, destroy the Amazon fucking rainforest, to chop down some fucking trees for these fucking assholes, just so we can get these stupid little printed bills they make that they've told us and we've told ourselves mean something. It's all bullshit. It's all a fucking scam, right? And we're all being played like fiddles. Well, I'm not. I'm seeing what's going on here. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of others who are seeing what's going on. Unfortunately, we are a minority. And I would say if you're watching this, don't be in a city for very long. Try and make a plan to get out of it at least. You don't need as much as you think you need to retire. When I say retire, to retire to acquire a place where you can actually start doing a craft, an occupation, and earning a living like we used to do on Earth before jobs and corporations existed, right? Mankind did well for hundreds of millions of years without all these things in place. We can do well again. The problem is if we leave it too long, these fucking arseholes will own absolutely everything, and the sheer act of existing will become a crime. And you'll have nowhere to run to because they'll own all the capital, and you need to work. It's all tweak the Zoolander. Oh, go chip. Okay. Shave a little bit off here, shave a bit off there. Tweak that little one, turn this little knob, and before you know it, Australia's completely controlled. You've got no choice but to be enslaved from the time you're born because you've got a multi-generational mortgage, and then 2 generations down or 3 generations down, and your family's just almost paid it off. It's got 3 cents owing, and then some other economic turmoil happens, and that 3 cents is enough for the banks to foreclose on your house and take it off of you. Believe me, this is what will happen longer term. We've got a lot more shenanigans ahead of us because to get that last 10% of capital that the 99.99999% own, it will take them quite a long time, all right? Unless they move up to full fascist mode with their robot soldiers and just take it off us. And that is a highly likely scenario. All right, I'm going to leave it there. I'm pretty sure I covered everything. Oh, that's one last thing I wanted to say was about the Elon Musk, the SpaceX and NASA video. They have all these people. They even have Lion Ted Cruz. Look, it's Lion Ted, Crooked Hillary, and Lion Ted. Right? Why? Why not? I mean, it's America's claim to fame. Wow, we're in space the first time in 10 years, and blah blah blah. And by the way, you might have noticed all the lingo. So you'll notice in my videos at the very start of the pandemic, I said, they will start, and I said this before they started using it, they will start using "let's come together" and all these talking points like we need to come together to do this and blah blah blah. They used all the talking points. It's good that we can come together. It sounds like a fucking just like a broken record, just apply to anything. What you got to do? We got a jogging thing going on. Oh, let's come together. We got a gym competition. Yeah, let's come together and do this. It's just pathetic, right? So they mentioned all these talking points again, come together, and here we go. Ted Cruz speaks to them. I'm sure they were just so blessed to have Ted Cruz talking to them, right? Where's Elon Musk? Come on, Elon, it's your fucking company here. It's doing a major thing. You're always showing, you're always you're on the fucking Joe Rogan show. You can't go on a thing that's showing to more people in the world than the Joe Rogan show. It's showing to over 1 billion people. Why aren't you on that one? It's your company, you know. Why are you talking more about why you need 40 or thousand Starlink satellites? But that's another story. And why isn't Donald Trump on there? My take is maybe they're too high price actors. I mean, the contract that they have, their acting contracts. Maybe not Elon Musk. He seems like a really smart guy. So he's unless you just a lot of actors are smart. Some of them are dumb as fuck, but some of them are smart. That's how they can play roles to pretend to be a smart person. You can't just be a dumbass and pretend to be a smart person. I'm pretty sure that's why Kevin Spacey and a few other people were pretty good at some of these roles because they're a smart, crafty, sneaky, what's the word? Disturbed person, but they're smart enough to actually play the role of someone who is intelligent, right? Because they are themselves. So I don't know if Trump is that highly intelligent, smarter than some people think, dumber than some of his fans believe he is as well. Uh, so my take is that their contract doesn't cover that, and their rate was too high. It's as simple as that. They're all actors. Politics is all fake. You can just see the clown show that's going on with every single last person who you thought was a glimmer of hope. It's like, oh, maybe Bernie is going to let people down, and but maybe this Tulsi Gabbard, maybe she's going to, oh, 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 she's going the same way as Liz Warren, who was the hopeful as well, who also was an inside shill, and everyone was. Oh, okay, AOC too. Oh yeah, got great tits though. Um, yeah, I can't help noticing that. But yeah, and oh yeah, because they're all communists and stuff like that, and then that means that the Republican side's good. No, they're just clown show as well. Lion Ted and look at they all hate each other. Yet now they're all friends. They're all friends again because they're all hand-picked, selected actors, or whatever. With I don't necessarily mean an actor is in sitting on stage, but the fact that we already had him handpicked from a lineup in The Simpsons to be the president of the USA. Put it this way: how many other people did they show being the president of the USA who were famous? Just think about it. All those years, well over a decade, maybe a couple of decades of Simpsons. Who else did they show? This is all scripted. It really is. I really am going to leave it here now because I could just go on for hours about this sort of stuff. But we are being made fools of royally while we all effectively go around and ransack and cannibalize each other, the lives of each other, destroy the lives of each other, all sit there fighting so that these people can sit up in their little ivory towers and look down and go, ha ha, idiots. Oh, shit, look. Some change fell out of his pocket while he was getting stabbed. Lean down from the clouds. Warren Buffett. Silver coin for me. I need more. I'm only a 1 trillionaire. That's what's happening. All right, I'll leave it at that. This has been Red Pill Diaries. I've been Craig. You've been you. Bye.